Hello, good evening, and welcome to Off Track Small Talk. And tonight we're going to be chatting to number 93, Sam Makim. Sam, I think this is a first for me, talking to somebody who's in hospital.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to be out by now, but we're still waiting.
And so, I mean, maybe don't overshare, but are you okay?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm just getting some bigger balls for next year.
Good. Has the operation gone well? Are you?
Yeah, we're just recovering a bit. Just can't sit in seat too quickly.
Perfect. So we're going to talk to you because we're going to reveal your refurbished car for 2022. But before we get to that, let's have a bit of a look back at 2021. It was a pretty successful season for you.
It started badly, but it improved towards the middle. At the start, it was pretty depressing. We were getting a bit sick and tired, but it went well at Kings Lynn and improved. And we're starting this year as blue again, which we'll try and keep all year.
And we did the World Final at Bradford. I think that was your first World Final, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was going a bit too well, and then obviously it ended pretty sharpish. But hopefully we'll probably not go for the World Final this year. I've got I think it's my brother's wedding at the Skegness semi-final, and then I've got another wedding to go to on World Final night. So hopefully next year will be another one.
Back on shower, though, isn't it? 2023 should be. So
yeah, I don't know whose turn it is, but we'll try and qualify wherever it is.
So you said you had a bit of a rubbish start, and it kind of got good in the middle, and then very much like a roller coaster, it went down again towards the end. We seem to roll over quite a lot.
Yeah, it went round and round. I just couldn't believe twice in 2 weeks, but and then the third meeting in a row, we nearly rolled it again. I think it was we sat on the back of Bradley Harrison, and someone running to the back of me, and it nearly went, but we managed to keep it on all four. But the tarmac wing can now stay back upstairs.
But I think it's certainly got you noticed. In all seriousness, with the final win and the sort of rolling over, I think you were very much in people's minds towards the back end of last year.
Yeah, we've mainly concentrated on just finishing races for the last couple of years, try and get some laps under a belt, because obviously, I mean, I watched John Lund's interview this morning, and like you said, you don't really learn anything doing one race and packing up and going home. So we seem to just get into the groove of it. I think we went testing with Ryan just before the semi-final. I think it was the week before the semi-final, and we had no confidence because I think we bent the back axle. I think the first meeting we went to, we bent the exhaust manifold. That was one race and went home. Went somewhere else and bent the back axle. I think, and then we went to Northampton, and I think that was when we bent the back axle. And then I think it was Jack Ryan head on, so both ends of the car were looking a bit of a mess. And then then we got that fixed, and then we went to Sheffield the week after, and I stuck myself in the fence again. So at that point, we had absolutely no confidence. What were we doing?
Is that okay? What's happening?
Oh, is that? It's just a kid waiting for the lift.
Oh, you're in the lobby, aren't you?
I am. It beats the IV drip of the bloke next to me. So yeah, we just kept losing confidence. And we went with Ryan. We tried a couple of different things, and it seemed to pick up just in time for the semi-final. I mean, we were lucky with Chris Broxop, managed to keep his foot in whilst I was sat on front of him, and it just dropped off and went all right. So I think our luck turned a bit then, and we got a bit more confidence going into this year. So hopefully it's not wasted.
Good. So over the winter, have you done much to the car?
Well, yeah, we've had the outside chassis rail off from the front of the bonnet, because I managed to put myself in the fence at Bellevue a couple of years ago, and that just slightly kinked it, and then I think Bradford finished it off. So we've had that off, and we took it to Ryan's and put a new front end in it, which will hopefully be a bit stronger. because it's taken quite a few knocks. So hopefully we won't bend it this year.
And so, like the fact that you believe you've got a decent car underneath, and you talk about confidence. Does it give you more confidence going into a meeting, do you think, going forward?
Yeah, I think confidence is key. Obviously, you've got to, with the car being at Ryan's over the last couple of years, it keeps improving, and obviously we get a lot of help from him with setup and whatnot. So, he sort of tells me how to, throw it into a car, because it's easy. The other boys make it look easy, but just throwing it in and having the confidence to do that, is a big thing to do. So hopefully, it started going well at the end of the year. So if we can carry that on into this year, then it should hopefully be relatively successful. If we stay at Blue Top all year, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah. Good. Talking about throwing your car in before into a bend with confidence. I remember you did that at Kingsland as well, and you seemed to connect with Tom Harris.
That, yeah. Well, that wasn't confidence. That was lack of control. But, yeah, these things happen, don't they? I don't think. Well, I didn't do his shootout chances anyhow, which was. No. The main thing really, I was just trying hard, and I thought, it was going well, and I was just trying to keep with. I think I had Ryan behind me and Frank, so I thought, I can't really be messing about, and I just went in a bit deep, and I just clipped him, and then I was sat in the fence.
But to be fair, as a spectator watching, it looked like you took Tom out. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people at the time.
Yeah, I got my phone out after the meeting, and there was plenty of notifications saying about having plenty of minerals and stuff. But if if it had worked out, I'd have probably looked like a hero. But I'd have just been looking in my mirrors for the next few meetings.
Brilliant. Sam, it's now time for you to reveal your car for 2022. So over to you.
This is my new, refurbished car for the year. I hope everybody likes it, and there's still some space for any sponsors if anybody's interested.
Sam, it does look great, and I think you mentioned it before. It's not just you, is it? You've got your dad and some people kind of helping out at the garage, because you can't do it all yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I went self-employed last year in March, and it's just got busier and busier. Obviously, at the minute, it's a bit of a pain with being in hospital, but I haven't had time, to be honest. Brian, who helps us, he's been at work a lot more, so. We've lost, so that the car usually turns up and it's painted every week. We try and make it look smart for the fans and the sponsors. Make it look like we are making an effort. So I can't thank my dad enough and Brian for them being there every weekend. And over the last couple of weeks when I started being out of action, they've carried on. They've got the engine back in and put plenty of hours in. My dad. We got the car back from paint, and we weren't really happy with the paint job, just the way it worked out. So my dad's, he's repainted it. So it looks much the same, obviously, as last year. But my dad likes the paint scheme, and I don't really mind how it looks as long as we go all right. That's the main thing.
Brilliant. It does look brilliant. So you started the season as Blue. Are you setting yourself any kind of goals, targets for 2022?
Hopefully there'll be not many cars at Kings Lynn and Bradford, and I can get a few points in once a month with a red roof, because then my dad will get his hand in his pocket and buy me another wing. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, I just want to stay at Blue all year. I mean, with work obviously, and having the last couple of weeks off work, it eats into the racing fund. I don't think the girlfriend will let me put a padlock on the heating, and let them only have beans on toast. So, we'll just try and do what we can this year. We've got, so we've got a few sponsors, and it always helps. We've got Carl Critchlow who sponsored me last year, and he's sponsored me again this year. Gary Fox, TW Fabrications, who sponsors all the steel. Graham Smith, my dad, Dave Newby. I'm trying to think who else there is. If I've missed anyone, then obviously I apologise. Or anyone
if you've missed anybody, just record it again and Jordan will put it in at this point. It's fine.
Yeah, right, sound. Yeah, but I just like to thank anyone that helps us keep on track. Last year we had a couple of like I said, Carl bought us a spoiler after we'd wrecked 2. Ivan Bills bought us a tyre, and everything helps because it isn't a cheap sport. And this year, obviously, the price of diesel and petrol's gone up. That's about the only bonus of being in hospital for I haven't had to buy any diesel all week. Yeah. But it isn't cheap, is it? Especially getting about, and all the fans that willing to put their hands in the pockets and come and watch and make a trip every week. It's it's appreciated by all the drivers, and hopefully we can we can all put a good show on this year.
On paper, it is looking like being a very, very good season. Lots of new and returning and drivers coming into the sport. So it's looking fantastic. And you and I have spoken a few times at Stockholm meetings and messages. And you are passionate about Formula 1 stock car racing. You want to see it grow and prosper.
Oh yeah, it baffles us that the car's been parked in the middle of the garage for however long I've been. Is it 5 years I've been racing? I can't remember. But you still have people asking, every week, what's that? What's that? It's sat there with its wing on, and people still don't seem to know what it is. Obviously, the loss of Bellevue has made it a bit more difficult to get people to go and watch, like from around us. But Bradford isn't that far, is it? So hopefully, like my mates, it's hard to get them to come to Kings Lynn, but get them to go to Bradford on a Saturday night. Hopefully, it just, hopefully Bradford will be, the best track in the UK. Obviously at the minute it's Kings Lynn, hands down. So, it looks like they're doing a lot of work at Bradford, and hopefully, if they can get a lot of the locals, interested, and the numbers are there, hopefully, it'll just get back to growing.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that sort of from around that area that maybe used to go stock car racing and maybe drifted away when Bradford closed. And if you just get a few of them back, bring their families, it's numbers on the gate, isn't it? Each meeting.
Yeah, I think obviously I'm not a promoter, but I think the main thing is targeting the kids. Get kids interested, in sport, because if it's loud and there's a bit of banging and crashing, that's why I suppose bangers probably do well with. Cause it's just, you don't need to even know what's going on, do you? They just want to see some crashing. But hopefully, if they can manage to get kids interested, in the local area, I don't know whether leafleting in local schools or whatever. Like I say, I'm not a promoter, but if they come once and they don't like it, if it's not for them, as long as it wasn't a terrible meeting and it's not made the sport look bad, if it's just not for them, it's not for them, is it? Football isn't for everyone. But if you could get, imagine how many people are near Bradford. If you could get 1% of them to come and watch, at least once, and make it more worthwhile. And as a world final venue, it's pretty unrivaled, isn't it? Really, for facilities, because it's got that much space. You can fit a lot of people in. There's it's a small thing in it, but the toilets are all decent. The likes of Stoke, it didn't used to bother anyone who was into stock car racing, but it wasn't somewhere that you could really, I loved Stoke, but you couldn't really take anyone there. No. It was a bit old school, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is as well, you talk about having a nucleus of fans at potentially Bradford, but then they might go, oh, do you know what? There's Sheffield on next week. That's not too far away, I've enjoyed that. I'll go and watch them at Sheffield. And it's that sort of butterfly effect, isn't it? You create fans of the sport and of drivers.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what the fixture list is, to be honest. But is there any Bradford and Sheffield weekenders? Or
There's one, I think. There's one,
yeah,
maybe.
I mean, if you can get, someone from Bradford, it isn't that far, is it? If they live in the middle, they'll go to, if they go to Bradford Saturday night and they think that was good. That when's the next one? You can't have them obviously every week, can you? But if it's regular, well, they can go to Bradford and then I'll go to Sheffield if they've got every few weeks. Kingsland's a difficult one because it's that far in it, and I've told all my mates, I've told everyone, how good it is, but it's trying to convince them to do an 8-hour round trip.
Yeah. No, it's a long way for you guys. Certainly from where you are, it's a long way. So yeah.
Yeah, it's usually we'll set off at about 10, and I think we get home, but depending on what time the meeting finishes, get home at say 3 o'clock, unload, wash off, in bed for 5, up again for 10. I leave my dad. I don't bother giving him a ring on a Sunday morning. I leave him till away because he's driven all the way back, and I've usually slept there and back. So I get left to do any fixing on Sunday. But it is a big commitment in it going to Kingsland. But I don't, even if we don't do any good, we've always enjoyed it there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule, sat in a hospital, bored to tears. Thank you for watching John Lund. I hope that entertained you, and look forward to seeing you at Kingsland in what is just less than 2 weeks now. So yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, well, hopefully it'll still look like it does after we finish the meeting. Hopefully with all 4 wheels pointing the right way. But there's no guarantees. Sam, thank you very much, and see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers. Thank you very much.